Jay in Oswego, Illinois. Hey, Jay, what's up? Thanks for listening to WCPT.
Hey, how's it going? Like calling in, I've talked to you before. Hey, I want to bring up a point here, and I want to be vocal, just as everyone is in this case, and say I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. We look at division of church and state, so let's get some clarity here. I would say, as a Christian, what my concern is not benefits, but the sacrament of marriage here, and I don't have clarity from the other side of the aisle as far as, is it all about benefits? Or is it about, and I would call it the desecration of a sacrament? Which one is more important here? Because then you have a battle on your hands with Christians if it's all about trashing the sanctity of marriage. If it's about benefits, hey, Christian pretty much mantra is don't love the world and the things in it. So frankly, I don't have a problem with someone in a civil union that wants all the same benefits that I have in a marriage.
Well, let me reassure you then, Jay. If you're Catholic, for example, and you're married, you cannot get divorced because that sacrament, unless the church decides that you never had sex, that sacrament is solid, right? If you are Jewish and you want to get married in many of the Jewish synagogues, you can't marry somebody who's not Jewish, who hasn't been, if you're in many Protestant denominations, if you're a member of a particular denomination, the Latter-day Saints, I'm pretty sure if you're Mormon and you want to marry somebody and they haven't converted to Mormonism, the church is not going to recognize that marriage. So the sacramental part of marriage, and frankly, the kind of anti-sacramental part of divorce, all of that is still totally in the hands of churches and synagogues and temples and whatever you want to call it. The government is making no decisions, right? The Catholic Church probably does not recognize, I don't know their official position on it, but Newt Gingrich, I believe, has converted to Catholicism. I don't understand how they could recognize his second and third marriage, both of which happened from affairs he was having while he was married to his previous wife.
Well, look at a bigger standard we're holding. Forget the hypocrisy. I know it runs rampant. Okay, and none of us are perfect. We're all sinners.
No, you're missing my point, Jay. If that's what you think I'm saying.
What I'm saying is this: that if we put it in and frame it that way, could it be that the other side of the aisle, in this case, and that's what I'm saying, anyone supporting gay marriage would have to come out and say, all right, you got us. We're trying to change what God said. That's what it's about.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. Now there are some denominations. There are some denominations. The United Church of Christ has come out and said, we believe that gay marriage is consistent with Jesus' message. And they've held that position for almost a decade.
They're all wrong, and they're all going against what God said. So
but see, there's nobody. Everybody claims to have a monopoly on what God said, but the constitutional position is that it's not the business of government to decide what God said. And so, a church can recognize a marriage or not. The sacramental part of a marriage, the sacred part of the marriage, that's up to the churches. What we're talking about here is contract law. We're talking about two people saying, When I die, you get my stuff.
They got to get the word marriage out of there. Then it should behoove.
Well, no, that's the word marriage is part of contract law. At law, the word marriage means contract. In church, or in a synagogue, or in a temple, or in a mosque, the word marriage means something quite different.
Right, but I think that's the debate. So the point I would make, that's the bone of contention. So the point is quite simple. Instead of don't you think it's harder what they're trying to reconstruct and affect the Constitution? No, you know what?
No, they're not. It's and Shane just pointed out to me, neither the word Bible nor the word God was ever brought up in the Supreme Court pleadings either yesterday or today at the United States Supreme Court. There was absolutely no discussion about the religious dimension of this. That is not the business of government. There is, the Establishment Clause in the Constitution says the government shall not establish any religious test for public office, and the First Amendment says that there shall be no official religion for the United States, essentially.
The country we have, though, is that everything's predicated upon in God we trust.
No, in God we trust is not in the Constitution. It's not in the Declaration of Independence. It's something that was put on our coins in 1953.
Right. And the presidents all say, God bless America.
Yeah.
The country's a little confused. I'm a little confused on which one is it? Is God in our country or not? I guess that's the real question here.
No, we have a secular republic. George Washington was very clear about that. George Washington refused.
A lot of people have been misled.
We have a secular republic. We are a government of laws. We are not a government of religions. And
well, then why does the president invoke God's name when it's convenient?
Because he finds it politically expedient.
But don't you agree then that is hypocritical and that should probably stop too? Then, if you're really going to do,
you could make that argument, and a lot of atheists do. A lot of people who aren't atheists think it's kind of cool that the president, mentions their particular god or their favorite god or whatever. I think
it's worse. I think it's deceptive. In my estimation, it's deceptive. I'd rather don't be lukewarm, and that's
go like Thomas Jefferson and just Jefferson was just open about it, right? I mean, he took the New Testament and he, with a razor blade, cut out all the miracles and then reassembled it, and it's still in print, the Jefferson Bible. No miracles, Jesus, right? He was just a wise philosopher, and he said, enough of these dusty books. He said we didn't. When this is paraphrasing, but it's pretty close. He said when we started this country, we didn't have to look into dusty books or ancient scripts. We looked into the laws of nature and found them written in our hearts. Jay, thank you for the call. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
And by the way, I would say things have changed since that day, because back then, one of the laws of nature he was talking about was slavery.